how well is your mountain bike training actually going? How well are you doing off-road? How good are you at handling your bike? You think pretty good? You think you're practicing the right way? Do you think you're practicing mountain biking? You're not. Stay tuned for a little bit later in the episode. I'm going to get into details about how to practice mountain biking. Thank you for watching Hook, Line, and Shifter. I'm your host, Bob McCarty. If you like it, please click the subscribe button down in the bottom, like, and share. A lot of good things to get to you today with our next episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter. Had Fool's Gold race, a gravel race. I'm going to get into the topic of exactly what that means, a gravel race, even though it's supposed to be a mountain bike race. Jacksonville, Florida State Championship Series, round 2. Then we're going to close with a little bit of mountain bike training, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, as well as the famous Wooda racing, just things that I hear at every one of the events. And then what's in your water bottle. Because of the subscribers like you, today's episode is brought to you by You Cycling. That's You Cycling. They're the cycling clothes that I've been using for a couple of years now. Very comfortable, long lasting, and they don't stink. I ride a lot. These clothes have lasted me quite a while. You see the McCarty training jerseys out there, as well as my bibs. Those are from You Cycling. So check it out if you got a moment. It's YUUcycling.com. That's YouCycling.com. Really cool company based out of Miami. So, all right. So where were we a couple weeks ago? Fool's Gold. So the last episode I was talking a little bit about racing in Tallahassee, where I said blood, sweat, and no gears because the conditions were absolutely horrendous. So 1 week later, what am I going to do? Decide I'm going to go up to Dahlonega, Georgia for Mountain Goat Adventures for Fool's Gold, 2024 edition of Fool's Gold. I've done Fool's Gold for the past couple years. Usually falls on a Saturday, and unfortunately, it sometimes falls in the same weekend as our Florida State Championship Series kickoff that happens in Tallahassee. Was very fortunate this year that it was actually an off weekend, so we went Tallahassee, Fool's Gold, and then up to Jacksonville. Again, I said in the last one up to because I'm based out of South Florida, so I reference a lot of things having to go up the state. Every place that we go racing winds up being up the state to Jacksonville. So let's talk a little bit about Fool's Gold. So I said it was a gravel race. It's not supposed to be a gravel race. So the race normally is off-road. It's about 50. There's two classes. There's a 38 mile and then there's a 54 mile class. I elect every year to try and do the 54 mile race. A lot of climbing. You start at Montelus Winery, head out from the winery. You got to ride some asphalt for quite a while. A good fun downhill. Group's really tight at that point. Then we make a turn, left-hand turn over a bridge, and then you start into the country roads, riding up the mountain, down the mountain, and then into some really fast, fun single track. That's the way the route normally goes. Backstory to this, in 2022, we had the same opportunity to go there. I show up into Dahlonega on a Thursday with my race bike, getting ready for a mountain bike race, and come to find out that we learned about something called the rain route. The rain route simply means the Department of Forestry will actually shut down the event and not allow people to ride off-road due to the weather, due to the conditions. So unfortunately, 2 years ago, 2022, I actually showed up with my mountain bike setup ready to go. And come to find out that same night, we then get a report that they have to run the rain route. Wasn't even aware of this rain route. What is the rain route? all gravel. Winds up being a 50-mile loop of all gravel roads. 0.0 single track. None. Climbing and descending. So this year, they did a much better job. Much better job of letting us know about the rain route. What actually happened is there was a hurricane, I think a hurricane that came across Louisiana, and the angle of the hurricane was supposed to dump a lot of the remnants and the rains up in Dahlonega. Dahlonega is just a little bit north, I think maybe slightly northeast of Atlanta. So pretty far up into Atlanta. Up into Georgia. So we didn't. So I'm at home on Wednesday. They actually put something out and said on Wednesday night they're going to make the decision: are we going to have to use the rain route, or in fact, are we going to have to use are we going to be able to do the regular mountain bike course? So Wednesday night got the report, going to have to use the rain route. The Department of Forestry said, nope, can't ride the single track. Too much expected rain. They called it biblical rains that were coming. Not allowed to do it. Oh, as a matter of fact, I think one of the reasons why was this was 2022. I think in 2021 or 2020, it was by far the worst downpour conditions race that I have ever done. I'm going to rank it somewhere in the top 3. It could be number 1, but definitely the top 3 conditions of the worst mud race that I have ever done. Water 2, 3, 4 inches deep, just running down the hill. It was horrendous. Fun as shit, but we did a good job of destroying the mountain, so I can understand where they were coming from after this event. So I had experienced this. I had this experience in 2022 that I was there on a mountain bike gearing, fat tires, flat bars, everything. What happens on race day in 2022? Because they put out the report Thursday night and I was already in town for the race, Saturday morning show up, gravel bikes, skinny tires, big gears, gravel race. I'm there on a mountain bike, fat tires, but hey, I have to do what I have to do. So still pulled off a pretty good year. So fast forward now, we did it in 2023. Conditions were perfect. Mountain bike race, had an amazing time. Now we're there in 2024. Get the report on Wednesday that they have to run the rain route, which is all gravel. So what did I decide to do? Put up the picture right here. If you look at the picture, I decided to build my mountain bike because they also put on the website that you're no longer allowed to have drop bars and gravel bikes as part of the rain route. Why? I think probably what they experienced in 2022 made the right decision that we can't go back to how unfair it was in 2022. They also specified that there was no regulations as far as tire size. So what did I decide to do? Again, on that bike, my mountain bike, I built up my mountain bike with a set of gravel tires on it. Now, in practice day, I used a set of my Pirelli gravel tires, 45s, mounted on my mountain bike rims. Same drop bar, same gear ratio. I'm running a 36 absolute black 36 oval on the front and a 1052 SRAM transmission in the rear. So plenty of gears all the gears that I needed, but definitely had some rollability behind those tires. So get into town with the bike that I built up, ready to go. Friday is practice day. Wound up being a little bit on the rainy side on practice day, but I decided to do the short loop. So there was 2 loops. There was a 38 mile and a 50 mile. I'm going to get back to that topic also because on race day, come to find out that there was no 38. It was actually everybody was doing the rain route, which was a 50 mile loop. Practice day, I gambled with the tires, and sure enough, the first, or maybe like the second or third downhill that I had to go down, flatted. Those 45 tires going down the mountain with gravel road kind of a rough, actually a rough gravel road. Going down the mountain with the gravel road, the tires, I wound up blowing a tire, put a hole in it, got a little bit nervous about it. Plugged the tire, got back to the winery, left. I decided to go by one of the local bike shops in Dawson. Great guys that took care of me there. So when I was there, I was trying to get a new plug kit because I wound up using all my plugs. But as I was there, I was thinking about the tire, the profile of the tire. I started to get nervous about it, and I was thinking about switching. I didn't switch, and it actually panned out to be okay. I didn't switch. I switched brands. I went to another set of tires. Same thing, 45 gravel tires, had a little bit of more sidewalled knobs to it because I was a bit tentative in laying the bike over down some of the country roads. My lean angle wasn't as much as I would have liked it to be. I did also run my dropper. You'll hear in a lot of these videos I talk about the necessity of a dropper and just how much I use it and just how much I love it. So even on these country gravel roads, I'm dropping that seat post as much as I possibly can. Gives me a lower center of gravity, makes me feel a little bit more comfortable in cornering. I will say this, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, I have no idea if I'm any faster because of how much I use my dropper seat post. But I will tell you this, I damn sure am a lot more comfortable. And if you make me comfortable, something is probably going to happen. I don't know what, but something is going to happen. So I will never ride a bicycle without a dropper again. Yeah, it's a pound heavier. I get it. I understand. Doesn't make a bit of difference to me. I love it, and I'm going to continue to use it. There's a story behind that too. So laid up a different set of tires, decided I was going to take the chance and hopefully not flat on the downhills. Be a little bit more conscious of my line selection, try to avoid some of the rocks, try to get a little bit lighter, a little bit more playful, hop over some stuff, and see if I could really make those tires work. So show up on Saturday morning as a race. It's a 50 mile race. Like I said earlier, come to find out it was actually 50 miles for both classes. They are both durations. In off-road, it's a 38 mile and a 54 mile. In this case, because of it, because of it being a rain route, it's 50 miles for everybody. So we take off out of the winery. I'm on my Scott. And by the way, I didn't bring my race bike. I actually brought my practice bike. That's why you see in the picture that it's a yellow bike, as opposed to in the other side over there, my black bike that I usually race cross country with. I absolutely trashed the bike in Tallahassee. Spent a couple days rebuilding it, bottom bracket, brake pads, rebuilding the headset, rebuilding the pedals, cleaning out the free hub body, just a lot of work, and I wasn't in the mood to do all that again to beat the hell out of the bike, so I decided to use my practice bike. Practice bike is just as good as my race bike. The only reason I refer to it as my practice bike is because I spend so much time, so much effort, or so many miles on the practice bike that the equipment generally takes a pretty good beating. And my race bike only gets used on Saturdays for practice and Sundays for racing. I race approximately 35 to 38 times a year. So that's all the bike gets used for. So I know everything on it is going to be really good. All right, so they say go, we take off. Head out of the Monaluz Winery, down the main road. No problem, sitting in a comfortable, top 10, top 15, knowing that once we get onto the fire roads and we start to climb, I'm actually pretty good with climbing. So I had no concern about my current position. Once we really got into climbing, made my way into groups started to separate. So I kind of got caught in between the lead group, which I think was 4 people at the moment. I was left solo by myself, and then there was people chasing behind. So climbed with everybody, had a great day. Caught one person that fell off the back of the group of 3. So I wound up in 4th position. Going down the first hill, oh my God. Going down the first hill, excited, thinking I got my new 45 gravel tires with a little bit more sidewall on it, feeling confident about going down the hill. That's the dropper thumb. This is the shifter thumb. Click the dropper, dead. Doesn't work. Oh, God. I really want this dropper. Dead. What happened with this is there's a 2032 battery up in the shifter pod that, because it was my race bike, I hadn't really paid attention to it. I changed the batteries on my dropper post. I changed my batteries on my derailleur. Every single time I ride, I knew those were going to be okay, but I neglected to check the battery up in the pod that sends a signal over to the seat post, and come to find out, battery was dead. So guess what? I made do. A little bit less uncomfortable, but I don't think the outcome would not have been any different. The fact that my dropper post worked or it didn't work. Really uneventful the rest of the day. Not a whole lot happened. A little bit nervous on the downhills just because of the fog, the rain, the loose terrain. But I learned a thing or two. Yes, I'm still learning things. 575 races, nearing 600 races in my career, and I'm still trying to figure this out, and I'm still learning things. That's one of the main reasons why I'm so excited, I guess, to go out and practice and train and do the things that I do, because I am never complacent and always willing to learn. So the race wound up taking me a little over 3 hours, which wasn't too bad for a 50 mile race. Roughly 6,000 feet of climbing. Fun, definitely a fun race. I much would have preferred off road, but hey, those were the cards that we were dealt. So let's see how everybody did. So we're just going to talk about the main 50 mile class. We have Elliot Baring, Baring Performance. He actually won the overall. Did it in 2 hours and 57 minutes. Pretty good for him. 50 mile open female, Beata Ronska. She has been around a long time racing. Had an amazing race there. Actually was coming off of fitness from the Swiss Epic, so she had an amazing job there for the open female. Did it in 3 hours and 34 minutes. Single speed. This is somebody that I want to point out. I said I did it in roughly 3 hours and 9 minutes, and I've got 12 gears to try and work with. This dude ran the open class on a single speed. Bradley Cobb, man, good job, Bradley. Only 2 minutes off of my pace. 3 hours and 11 minutes, single speeding it. He actually, I gotta throw the name out there. Jamie Thompson also, 3 hours and 11 minutes. Apparently, they had a sprint finish because they were only 6 seconds separating each other. So, man, these guys are killing it. To put it in perspective, the third place single speed person, 45 minutes behind them. So, man, great job, Bradley, and great job, Jamie. Man, you guys crushed it. I was actually staring at you as we were going up one of the first climbs, and I'm like, these dudes are nuts. Come to find out 3 hours later, yeah, those dudes are nuts and they can kill it. So good job for them. 50 mile Clydesdale went to Mike Wincup. 50 mile male under 30, Addison Watley. 30 to 39, Austin Sullivan. Pretty good job, Austin. 40 to 49, Dan Morse. 50 to 59, I got the win there. Male 60 plus, William Murphy. Female under 40, Jaden Randall. Female over 40, Mola Borghese. Okay. And what's that? Okay, next category is just the overall result. So overall results means everybody that raced the 50 mile class. We have Elliot Barron, Asher Bogner, Spencer Whittier, myself, Addison Watley, Austin Sullivan, Dan Morris, Bradley Cobb, Jamie Thompson, and Alberto Marcano. So anyways, great event. Go check it out. It happens every year right around the second week of September. It's based out of Dahlonega, Georgia, out of the Monteluse Winery. So check it out. Great event. Gravel or single track, they still do. They still put on a really good event. So race is over, packed up, headed back home, drove home that same night. So I got home approximately 4 o'clock Sunday morning, so I could be back at work on Monday to do all of this again. So, all right, so home for 5 days, and then packed up my stuff again, and just was in Jacksonville for the Florida State Championship Series round number 2. Round number 2 in Jacksonville, Catherine Abbey Hanna Park. First time I raced Hanna Park was in 1996, so I'm pretty familiar with the park. The travels for this, because of my training schedule and working with clients, I wasn't able to go there on Saturday to do my practice or to do my pre-ride. I don't think I was missing out on a whole lot. It's been raining here in Florida, especially up in North Florida, quite a bit. So, from what I heard from one of the locals there, that on Tuesday they were even questioning, were they going to be able to hold an event because the whole park was under 4 to 5 inches of water. So I didn't make it up there Saturday to do the pre-ride. I drove up Saturday, got to the hotel about 10:30, 11 o'clock Saturday night. Got up nice and early Sunday morning, had breakfast with one of my friends, headed over to the park, suited up, and then used Sunday morning as my pre-ride. Course on Sunday, man, I thought it was absolutely perfect, like running on rails. Abbey Hanna Park is, believe it or not, is on the beach. Even though it's not that sandy, it's not directly on the beach. It's, I wouldn't even know how, a couple hundred yards from the beach, but still a really, really fun park. This course was about 5.6 miles with a lot of turns. I'm going to come back to the topic of turns a little bit later on in my description of what we experienced in Jacksonville. So anyways, couldn't ride the park on Saturday, rode the park on Sunday. I thought the place was amazing. Couple of puddles, maybe 5 or 6 pretty good water crossings. Some of them short enough that you could manual across. Other ones that were a little bit longer that you couldn't manual across, and you just had to bury the bike in it. And then one main section of fire road that's pretty long, approximately, I think I was clearing it in about a little over a minute of just a full gas section of 1 minute. And then right back into single track again with a lot of turns. I'm going to keep beating this turn thing to death. This particular race, I chose to use my race bike again. Same thing, same one that I used in Tallahassee. Same tire configuration. I run the Pirelli XCRC 2.4s. Reason I run 2.4s is a little bit higher volume in the tire. I could run a little bit less tire pressure to help me stay on top of some sections that were actually sandy, and then actually get over the roots a little bit better. One of the biggest reasons for running a little bit wider tire is I can run less tire pressure. So I'm 140 pounds. I prefer on my 2.4 tires, I run 15 PSI in the front and approximately 19 in the rear. I stayed true to those numbers this weekend in Jacksonville, or last weekend in Jacksonville. Okay, course is beautiful, absolutely perfect. Let's go racing. I'm ready to go. My class does 3 laps. Headed out for the first lap. When we refer to hole shot simply means once the promoter, Dave from Gone Riding, once he blows the whistle, it's the first person to get into single track. When the whole pack narrows down and dives into single track, that's how you define if you get the hole shot. Sometimes in our descriptions, we talk hole shot to checkers. Hole shot to checkers means you never got past. You got the hole shot, you went in woods in first. You held your lead the entire time and never actually fell to second, third, or whatever position you might have fallen to. So got the hole shot, went in the woods, and I'll tell you what, man, in Tallahassee, there was somebody new. somebody new laying the heat down on me. His name's Keith. Keith kept me honest in Tallahassee. I got him in the long run and was able to crack him as the day went on. Shows up again to this race here in Jax, and man, I could not shake him off of my wheel. So I went whole shot, and he sat there really, really pushing me to my limits. I had a pretty good grin on my face, one grin in pain, and another grin of, man, I am digging this. I cannot get rid of this guy. First lap, can't get rid of him. Second lap, can't get rid of him. If you go on to goneriding.com and you click results, you can actually see what our individual lap times were, just to see how close they were. Lap 3, I finally got a little bit of a gap, just a little bit of a gap. Now, I'm going to refer in the next segment when I talk to you about, when I asked right in the beginning, I said, how are you with training? How are you with mountain bike training? I'm not talking on your trainer doing intervals. I'm talking practicing mountain bike. How this all ties together is I am not greedy. I'm trying to be better than my competition. I clearly couldn't outride him. I'm trying, or outpower him, outfitness him. I'm trying to be better through my efficiency inside the trail. And like I said, I'm not greedy. I'm just trying to find a quarter of 1 second in every corner. You know what? Forget about it. Not in every corner. We're going to go with half the corners. This particular course, from what I've heard, it has somewhere around 200 turns, 200 corners that we have to go around. So it's really a tight, twisty place. 200 corners that we have to go around. I don't want to be better at 200 corners. I'm going to be better at 100 corners. Yeah, I'm going to be better at 100 corners. And I only want a quarter of 1 second. Just a quarter of 1 second to be better than my competition. 100 corners, not 200. 100 of them I'll screw up. 100 corners, quarter of 1 second is 25 seconds. Just because you're looking for a quarter of a second. Quarter of a second to get 25 seconds over your competition. That's the kind of focus that I have. I tried to beat him in fitness in 1, couldn't do it. Tried to beat him in fitness in 2, couldn't do it. Had to get a little bit smarter about how I was riding and was able to ride, I think, in my third lap a little bit better than I had in the other 2. Sustain the same fitness that I had during the day, and I was able to creep away from him and get the win. Bike held up perfect, body held up perfect. Struggling a little bit with my shoulder, my shoulder crash back in May. Some pain, but nothing that stops me from wanting to race my bike or do the things that I'm trying to do on a daily basis. So that was it, man. Jacksonville did not disappoint. I thought the place was amazing. A lot of slick routes, but not enough to really pose as a problem. Like I said, the mud crossings, not enough to pose as a problem. Couple bridge crossings, not enough to really pose as a problem. One of the main reasons is, guess what? Everybody's got to ride the same thing. Everybody's got to ride the same conditions. So whether you got to walk something or you got to ride it as slow as you possibly can, guess what? We're all experiencing the same thing. So, so that was it. Tallahassee was a week ago. Jacksonville did not disappoint me, nor do I think it disappointed anybody else. So let me just run through the results pretty quick. Victor Alber won the Open Expert XC1. I believe he won in Tallahassee also, so he's got a pretty comfortable lead on the group as far as points. So he's in the leader's jersey. We have 1 weekend off, and then the following weekend we're up in Dyer Park here. Honorable mention to Ryan Woodall. By the way, Ryan and Victor. I've been racing with these guys forever. I'm not racing them anymore, but forever I had a great opportunity to race with them. So two amazing, talented guys that deserve everything they get. And you know what? I'll throw it in there too. Angel, 3rd place. Man, that kid is something else. He's been with me for, I think, since he's been 6 or 7 years old. He's 18 now. And man, that dude has got some talent. So kudos to Angel. 40 plus, Seth Zalewski. Seth also won in Tallahassee 2 weeks ago. So he's clearly got the points lead over Allison Anyos. Allison got second to him in Tallahassee also. So that should be a pretty good battle between the two of them going for the rest of the series. I got the win in the 50 plus, and then in the sport category, Mario got the win in the young class. 40 plus class, Matt Kelly got the win. 50 plus, Kenan Harkin. Kenan, man, great job, buddy. I talked to you after the race at the bike wash. He's a I'm going to say not new, but new to the podium. I believe that was his first podium. So Kenan, congratulations on your first podium. Hope many more are on deck for you. Keep up doing what it is that you do, and you deserve every one of those podiums. Your training group, you guys know who you are, man. The leader of that group, he ain't gonna let you off the hook. So once you touch that podium, you have a new level of expectation. So congrats, Kenan. You deserve to be up there. Keep it up, buddy. Keep up the hard work, and big things will continue to happen. 60 plus, Jeff Pig. Expert women, Kelly Jones getting herself another win. Congrats, Kelly. Sport women, Kala Drake. I think she also got the win in Tallahassee. XC3 base, Rodrigo. Good job, Rodrigo. Bike parlor rider. A lot of bike parlor guys out there. Like your kits, by the way. 40 plus, Darwin Gill. 50 plus, Anton Carrera. Junior under 19, Wyatt Butler. Base 60 plus, Brian Grace. Clydesdale, Mauricio Hidalgo, McCarty training guy. Good job, Mauricio. 2 weeks. Round 1 at Tallahassee, round 2 in Jacksonville. Congrats to that one. Ramsey Howard for junior under 15. Base women, Brittany. Base women 40 plus, Charlotte Adams. Good job, Charlotte. I think you might have gotten a win another week also. XC3 women under 19, Chloe Hammock. Junior under 13, Koa Miller. Novice men, Adriel. I'm probably not saying that right, but you can help me correct it next time you see me at the next race. Kim Sullivan, novice woman. Kim Sullivan, novice men. They're also doing an e-bike race there. William, Andy, Alex, Stephanie. You got the wins in the e-bike class. And then the youth, Oliver, Isabella Fountain. Good job, Bella. I'm going to do this also. Look at that picture. Look at that picture, Isabella. Good job. Kendrick and Marco. Marco, man, good job, kid. You're going to be fast as your dad someday. Your dad got 5th in the open expert class. McCarty training guy also. So great job to everybody that competed in Tallahassee. Enjoy your week. In Jacksonville. Enjoy your week off. And let's get ready for Dyer Park in 2 weeks. So, all right, last 3 topics. and then I'll let you move on to more important things than sitting here listening to me rattle off some pointless stuff. So I started the episode with, do you think you are training mountain biking or practicing mountain biking? So one of the questions that I consistently get at my local park, somebody will say to me, hey, Bob, how fast do you do a lap? I ride at Markham. How fast do you do a lap at Markham Park? And my answer is, I have no idea. And they look at me kind of strange. You probably should know. And I go, nope, I have no idea. Why? I've never done a lap of my local park from beginning to end. I think and I believe it is absolutely pointless. Here's why. We're going to talk about practicing any other sport in this world. Football. I'm a fan of football. Football practice. Is this what the coach does? All right, team. Thanks for showing up today. Half of you guys are on that side of the field. Half of you are on the other side of the field. All right, go ahead and go play your game. He stands back and he watches the entire game. It's over and he goes, all right, guys, thanks for coming today. See you tomorrow for practice. Not the game, for practice. Tomorrow shows up. He goes, okay, divide in half. You guys take opposite sides of the field. Go ahead and go play your game. Sits back. Thanks, guys. Great practice today. And you go home. There is not one sport in the world that you physically go out and you play your game every single time you show up. I have no idea. It completely baffles me as to why somebody thinks they're practicing mountain biking by going to their local park and timing how fast they do an entire lap. So just for the sake of argument, let's say a lap takes 40 minutes of your local park, and today you're practicing mountain bike, and today you've got 80 minutes to ride your bike. You head out for your first lap and it's 40 minutes. Great. You turn around and you head back in for your second lap. And your second lap is even better. 39 minutes and 30 seconds. Man, awesome practice today. You got 30 seconds faster in your second lap of a 40-minute lap. And you check the box that you're practicing mountain biking. My question to you would be, if you're so good at practicing mountain biking, by the way you're defining it, tell me in lap 2 where you found 30 seconds to be better than you were in lap 1. And by the way, do not answer the question, I pedaled harder. I'm not looking for that. I guarantee you cannot tell me exactly where you found 30 seconds to be faster. You went home that day, you said, okay, this is great. What a great day of practicing mountain biking. Practicing my skills of mountain biking. Let's get into what I believe the definition of practicing mountain biking is. In some of the older videos that you've seen me put up, I do a lot of them, which I call my Moto Mondays. It's a group workout day. Absolutely love it. I get pushed. Everybody there that gets pushed also. How do we get pushed? We get pushed through skills and fitness. Skills and fitness. I'm gonna use the last one as the exact same example. 40 minutes, 80 minutes total. How about this? Just for the sake of argument, how about this? I've got the same 80 minutes to ride my bike today. By the way, in your 80 minutes, you hit every rock, root, bump, and corner twice. And this is probably what happened. Oh man, I really sucked around that corner. I'm going to be back in 40 minutes and I'm going to make sure I get better in that corner. Guess what? You're not. You're going to blow through that corner the exact same way. And by the way, in mountain biking, we're very fortunate that you have to learn. Why? Because every corner is different. Every corner has different angles to it. Every corner has different soil conditions. But that day you sucked the first time you went around the corner. You came back 40. I'm sorry, you were faster that lap. You came back 39 and a half minutes later to the same section. And now you blew the same corner. And guess what? You still sucked at it. But man, you did a great job of practicing mountain biking that day. Good job, man. Way to practice. How about this? And I'm not even going to take it to the extremes that I do. You've got 80 minutes to ride your bike today. How about finding an 8-minute section of trail, link together a couple different trails? How about finding an 8-minute section of trails and doing it 10 times? Oh my God, guess what? You're still riding your bike for 80 minutes. You're still developing your fitness for 80 minutes. You're doing an amazing job of practicing mountain biking. So instead of hitting corners twice, you hit them 10 times. 8-minute lap, 10 times. 80 minutes. You're still getting fitness. But guess what? 10 times through the same corner, you start to experiment with 3 topics that I'm going to beat you to death with. Beat you to death with. Lines, legs, and limbs. This is a McCarty training topic. I'll get more into these topics in later episodes. But one of them referred to as line selection. Line selection means, is that front wheel exactly where you wanted it to be? I guarantee you when you suck at cornering, you don't know where the front wheel was. And by the way, doing it twice, you haven't learned where your front wheel needs to be. Doing it 10 times, you're probably more likely to learn a little bit something about tire pressure, lean angle of the bike, body position, braking, where you're looking. All of these things to help you get a little bit better. One of a background that I have is in motocross. So I raced BMX, flatland freestyle, motocross, and then got into mountain biking from there. In motocross, we used to run laps, 3-minute laps, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And I'll tell you what, you kick the crap out of yourself to try and make 2 minute and 30 to make it 2 minute and 29 seconds. But guess what? You did 10, 12, 14 of these laps, or 10 or 12 of these laps, trying to get better and better and better and learning about it. So again, how do you define practicing mountain biking? And I guarantee you, you're all defining how you're practicing mountain biking wrong. Intervals, you're not practicing mountain biking. Pushing your body to the limit, you're not practicing mountain biking. I'm going to close with this sentence on this topic of how do you train and practice mountain biking. Do not practice avoidance. Nobody's got to teach you avoidance. What is avoidance? Avoidance simply means when you go to your local park, you're going to see a rock garden. You're going to see a cluster of roots. And the very first thing you're going to see is the line that goes around all of it. That is not practicing mountain biking. Change your thought process, change your skills, change the way you practice, and I absolutely guarantee you, you will get better at this sport. All right, last 2 topics. First one that we've tried to do every week together, the what's in your water bottle. Same thing I get asked on a pretty regular basis. Bob, what's in your water bottle? What's the secret? So I like to share the secret that's in my water bottles. What's in your water bottle, Bob? Every week we have the same thing. I'm telling you exactly what's in my water bottle. So I put a note every time I have a thought about what's in my water bottle. never, ever satisfied. Never satisfied. Constantly critiquing the work that I do and not being complacent, always believing that there's an opportunity to be better and do more. Never satisfied. Next one. Dedication. Dedication simply means when that alarm clock goes off at 3:50 in the morning every single day, dedication means I don't have a choice. I have to get up and I have to train. I'm dedicated to the sport, and I've been dedicated to it for decades now. Very blessed that I have the results that I do, but I do put in a lot of consistent hard work. Be dedicated to your sport. Be dedicated to the process. Know that you don't start training today and become fast tomorrow. This is a sport that takes a lot of dedication. All right, final topic, and we're going to wrap things up here. This is the one that I love, and I'll tell you what, in Tallahassee, in Fool's Gold, in Jacksonville, the feedback that I'm getting from people just makes me smile. Here we go. Wooda, WOULD-A, Wooda Racing. What does Wooda Racing means? Wooda Racing simply means that I listen in the paddock about what goes on with everybody out there. And I constantly hear the woulda. I woulda done better if blah, blah, blah. I woulda finished here had this not happened. I woulda and I'm going, man, come on. You got to own the day. Learn to be better. So let's do some woulda racing at Fool's Gold up in Dahlonega, Georgia. Number 3. These are 3 topics. Number 1 is going to be the one that kind of set me off the most that I was digging. Number 3, I haven't been training. Are you serious? I haven't been training. Good thing. Glad that's what you chose to share with me or with somebody at a mountain bike race. Number 2, Wooda Racing at Fool's Gold. That one rocky descent really kicked my ass. That one rocky descent really kicked my ass. Okay? So we don't like descending rocky things. That's great. And the number one thing that I heard, the number one Wooda Racing that I heard up at Fool's Gold was my chain fell off twice on the downhill. My chain fell off twice on the downhill. I had to stop and fix it. I would have done a lot better. So with regards to Wooda Racing and Fool's Gold, guess what? If you had been training, if that rocky descent didn't kick your ass and your chain stayed on the bike, you're not guaranteed to have done any better than you actually did. Own your training, own your process, and own your results. And the final one, let's get into the Wooda Racing, Jacksonville, FSC round 2. Again, top 3 things. Number 3, those wet, muddy routes killed me, sliding all over the place. Okay, not even going to go there. Number 2, man, these bridges, I had to slow down every time I had to cross the bridges. It was just killing my momentum. Oh, I didn't realize you were the only one that was going over these bridges and your momentum was getting killed. And number 1, I don't corner that good. Okay. I think that summarizes the whole topic today about practicing mountain biking. Jacksonville has 200 corners. You got to be prepared for cornering. And guess what? Mountain biking requires one thing. And it requires a couple things. It requires one main thing. Cornering. All right. So by the way, if you're pretty good at those muddy, wet routes, if you didn't have to slow down to go over the bridges, and if you actually knew how to corner, you're not guaranteed to do any better than you actually did. Own the process, own the results, don't make excuses, get out there and train. Excuses to me are a sign of weakness. This episode is brought to you by U Clothing, U Cycling, Y-U-U, ucycling.com. So if you like it, please click the subscribe button down on the bottom, like and share. Off for 1 week, and then we're up to Dyer Park for FSC round 2. Next week, we're going to do a product review that I had been talking about for a long time. I'm your host, Bob McCarty. Thank you for watching another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter. Get out there and train and have a great week.